Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. Day 10 is going to take us to the 25th of January. We'll be able to extend up beyond that. We extend GFS and ECM ensembles because they run to around a couple of weeks. So we're going to have a look at CFS-V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which will get us well into February. I'll get on that for you in a moment. Just say the first video, was our 7 AM upload. We've also released weekend forecast and the ECMWF 42 days / 6 weeks look ahead as well. So please like, share, subscribe on videos. Check out all the videos and, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so I'm going to give a shout out to one of GavsWeatherVids' avid viewers. So somebody is having a birthday today. Who could it be? So I'm going to say hello and happy birthday to Charlie McKinley. Hello and happy birthday to Charlie. I know Charlie is going to be watching this. Charlie watches all of the videos. So hello to you, Charlie. Thank you so much for watching videos and supporting GavsWeatherVids, and happy birthday to you, my friend. I've been told that it is your birthday by your best friend Abby. So Abby messaged me and asked if I could give you a birthday shout out. I've also been told to say that your little sister loves you very much. So it's absolutely lovely and incredible. You've got lots of lovely people surrounding you, Charlie, and supporting you. So happy birthday anyway, my friend. I hope you're having a lovely day. And happy birthday to Charlie McKinley. Good birthday to you. 15th of January, eh? Proper winter birthday boy, that, isn't it? Right, okay, let's crack on then. Happy birthday to Charlie. Right, so we're going to start off by having a look at what's going on in the stratosphere. So this is how temperatures are currently looking at 10 HPA from the JMA. So we're starting off with grey lines like the trend line. And you see at this point of the year into January, we should be starting to lift temperature up now at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over North Pole. Temperature should be starting to gradually increase. Actually, we're still colder than average, but we have lifted temperature up a little bit compared to where it was a few days ago. We went down around minus 80. We've now lifted things up to minus 70, but we are still colder than average. We should be around minus 60 at this middle point in January. So a colder than average stratospheric temperature currently, albeit it has warmed slightly over the past few days. They go a little bit low down to 30 HPA. They've got a very, very cold stratosphere. This is closer to the troposphere. And look at this, really cold there. The temperature's around minus 85. And at this time of the year, we should be around minus 70 or so. We're way below average. Really cold strat at 30 HPA and still colder than average at 10 HPA as well. But at 30 HPA, just as it has at 10 HPA, it has lifted slightly, but it is still way below average. And of course, this is associated with a pretty strong polar vortex at its roots in the stratosphere over the North Pole. Right, so let's very quickly have a look at stratospheric forecast temperatures then from the GFS, see what they're forecast to do, shall we? So they've got these blue colours. They are the cold temperatures we've got at the stratosphere at 10 HP. You see we are around minus 70 or so there over the North Pole itself. Right, let's see what happens then. So we keep those cold blue colours rooted, anchored in the stratosphere over the North Pole. Over the next week or so, temperatures will again be hovering around minus 70. No real lift up in the temperature, at least within the next week. As we move out into the extended range, we keep pretty cold temperatures going. We do start to get a little bit of a warming carrying over Siberia, though. That does strengthen a little bit as we get towards the end of January. It goes up to around minus 20. So that's quite a significant warming of the stratosphere over the North Pole. Over Siberia, I should say, not over North Pole. That warming is over Siberia. Quite significant, but falling short of what we would classify as a southern stratospheric warming, really. But yeah, a little bit of warming forecast to occur over Siberia through the last days of January. Whether that could begin to develop on into a proper warming of the stratosphere, southern stratospheric warming, as we go into February, we would have to wait and see. It's a new development, new trend today within the GFS model output. The midnight GFS run did actually lift that up a little bit more, to be honest, than that. But we shall see, just like a new development has appeared within the GFS operational output today, just start to increase the temperature over Siberia in the stratosphere during the closing days of January. So that's just really one to watch. But in the meantime, we're going to keep cold temperatures going in the stratosphere over North Pole, right the way out into the final stages of January, really. Sensing temperature is looking like this. The CT is currently standing at 5.8, which is an anomaly of 2.3 degrees above average. That's provisional to yesterday, to the 14th of January. So we have dipped under 6 degrees. Now we're still hovering around 2 degrees above average. That will fall further. It's another colder, even colder day actually today through the CT region. It's been foggy as well, frosty last night. So that's probably going to dip down. I would have thought towards the mid-5s probably by the time you get through to tomorrow or into Monday. It'll be around the mid-5s, I would have thought. And then probably just gradually dropping away. So by this time next week, we may well be in the 4s, actually, with that. We could well be in the 4s by this time next week. And then, where we go beyond that remains to be seen. But we are still unravelling, although we're nearly halfway through the month, we're still unravelling at a really warm opening day. It's actually been quite a cool sort of week or so, probably a bit cooler than average, really. But because we started off at such an incredibly high level for just the first day of the month, we're still unravelling that. But eventually we might even see this dipping back to average or even a little bit below if these frosty nights keep going for longer. So that also is a slow burner and is going to be one to watch as well. Having a quick look at the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. So the next couple of weeks we're looking like this. So red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for Leicester. So we're starting off above average with the upper air temperature at the moment, but inversion is taking place. So it's much colder down on the surface compared to how it is aloft. We're going to be pretty warm with those upper air temperatures, mild anyway, through the next few days. But again, there will be inversion conditions going on into next week, so further frost and fog is likely. Heading off into the final week of January, there is a bit of a cooling trend, a lot of scatter within there, I have to say. So the last week of January is still up for grabs, really, could go in either direction. We have got these milder ensemble members up here. We have got some cold on some members down here, though. Some of them do go very cold, including today's GFS 6Z operational run, which I will show you in a moment. So, the last week of January really is up the grabs at the moment. Before that, though, a lot of high pressure domination, relatively mild with the upper air temperatures, but will be cold with frost and fog on the surface. Loads of dry weather to come as well. That's the other big talking point about rest of January. I think there's very little in the way of precipitation on off. A few showery bursts coming and going here and there, but not really a great deal to go on. We have a very quick look at the mean sea level pressure. We see that's going to be holding up over the next week or two, roughly between around 1,030 and 1,040 millibars for much of the time. 2 metre temperatures are looking like that, so starting off slightly above average. Things will be going cooler though, colder as we head into the middle part of next week and the second half of next week. There will be some frosty nights involved in that. And then, of course, we have all of the scatter as we get into the last week of the month, which is this period just here. We've got these cold ensemble members down there, and then we've got these milder ensemble members up here. So the final week of January really up the grabs. Snow row is looking like that. Not much in the way of snow over next week, really, even 10 days, as it's going to be, basically anticyclonic. If there is going to be snow, it's more towards the extended range by the look of it. Let's just go here and we'll have a look at the extended ensembles, shall we? So still that cooling trend there towards the end of January and into early February. I showed this a couple of days ago. So this is extending out to like the middle of February. And we still see that cooling trend actually within GFS ensembles for the opening days of February in particular. So we start off here looking relatively mild, but remember it's anticyclonic, so it doesn't tell you the whole story. And then we get this sort of drop that occurs through here, which is like the last week of January into the first week of February. So there's a couple of weeks there that actually looks quite cold. A lot of those ensemble members are going down to minus 10 at 850 HPA. But a bit of a recovery in the upper air temperature then into the middle of February. But of course, that's all very extended, very unreliable stuff. But it's interesting, isn't it? But there's still that sort of cooling trend that we see there, like the last days of January and into the first week or so of February. Does the snow row increase? Yes, it does. So again, we see there's no prospect of snow over the next week to 10 days. Gradually, the snow spikes increasing to late January, and then through the first week of February, looks like it could turn quite wintry there, with a lot of those ensemble members going for snow. Quite significantly so, but again, bear in mind, this is a very long way up. These are the extended GFS ensembles, and so therefore they do have that unreliability associated with them. But could we get winter going at the end of January and into the start of February? The 2 meter temperatures look like that, and again we can see that cooling trend, so starting off, you know, around there. There's a lot of scatter in there as we go through, like, end of January into February, but you can see more and more of these ensembles dipping down to really quite a cold level as we go through that first week of February in particular. So could winter bite in the first week of February? Just one to watch. A little bit of a slow burner maybe, but we'll keep you posted on that. Right, temperature anomalies from the 15th to 23rd of January. They're going to be cooler than average, below average for Ireland, England, Wales, a little bit milder than average for Scotland. Precipitation anomalies from the 15th to 23rd of January are substantially and significantly drier than normal. The latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows that the area of high pressure has been dominated the last couple of days. It's slipping away to our south. We've got another rich building in the Atlantic. Tomorrow we will draw in something a little bit milder from the southwest, but by Monday we'll be back into pretty chilly air mass with high pressure re-establishing from the west and the northwest. Right, should we start going through some chart data then? Let's do that. We begin on Tuesday with UK Met Euro. This is midnight on Tuesday. High pressure again sitting over the top of the country, bringing loads of dry weather. Frost and fog, you know, is definitely possible. Another weak weather system moves in on Wednesday, so a slightly milder day in the south on Wednesday. Some patchy rain in Southwards, and then that gets out of the way Thursday. The high pressure is re-establishing from west again, and that will be within a colder air mass. So the second half of the week turns colder, with increasing risk of really quite harsh overnight frost potentially, and some freezing fog. And that high pressure sits over the country then as we go to 22nd of January. Again, lots of dry, cold, frosty weather into next weekend. Icon is looking like this. Again, we find that on Wednesday, a weather system moving in from the north. That will bring a slightly milder day on Wednesday, but by Thursday, the high pressure reestablishes from off the Atlantic and it will turn drier, but it will be quite cold with winds pulling in from like a northerly, northeasterly direction. Let's just keep the high pressure sitting around the country as we go into next weekend. Will be mainly dry, but again, watch out for the risk of frost and fog. GFS midnight run again with the high pressure over the top of the country on Tuesday into Wednesday. We pull in a little bit of a northerly, especially down the east coast. Might deliver a few snow flurries actually down the east coast. Bear in mind the other models, the Icon and UK Met, don't have as much of a northerly for Thursday, so that, you know, is to be determined. But even if we do get that northerly, won't do much other than bring a few snow flurries down the east coast, maybe some snow showers to northeast of Scotland. What it will do though is pull colder air into the area of high pressure, so as we go to the end of next week, the high pressure sort of re-establishes across the country, but there will be an increasing risk of some very significant overnight frost. And that carries on into next weekend as well. This area of high pressure sitting over top of the country, more of a gruesome twosome, frost and fog into next weekend. Day 10, we begin to drift that high pressure slightly out to our west again and try to pull some cooler air in from the north into that area of high pressure. And then in more extreme range, we keep the anticyclone going, sitting to our west, but we start to drag in some colder air on those northerly winds into the east. And eventually, we begin to raise the heights as well over Scandinavia. So it all starts getting increasingly blocked as we go into the last days of January. And we finish up looking like that with a bit of a Scandinavian high and winds in from the east, and upper air temperatures look cold across most of Europe as well, with that by the end of January. So, you know, by end of January it's turning increasingly cold and blocked with a hint of a Scandinavian high. How seriously we take that, I don't know. We've seen lots of these teasers for his winter so far, particularly running up towards Christmas, when it got to within 72 hours when it all collapsed. So I wouldn't take it all that seriously at this stage. Let's just wait and see. The GFS 6Z, very latest, again, looking like this with lots of high pressure domination through much of this week. Cold air being drawn into that high pressure from the north and the northeast, so in the second half of the week could deliver one or two snow throws down the east coast, but essentially it's dry with high pressure firmly in control. By next weekend we're having a go at reaching that high pressure up towards Scandinavia, just a bit of a go at it, but doesn't really get there, but it almost gets the wind into the east by day 9, which is 24th of January. It almost pulling the wind in from the east, but it just doesn't quite happen. However, it's still quite cold on that area of high pressure, further frost and fog potential and possibilities. And then into the final days of January, again, similar to the midnight run, high pressure begins to move out to the north and west. Colder air starts to push in from the north and also from the east. We actually pick up quite an easterly wind there by the 28th of January, which would bring, much colder air and even snow showers into eastern parts of the country. And then we're off and running into what looks like a very cold end to January with -10 Celsius iceberg across England and Wales. We're bringing snow showers from the east, and eventually we take the high pressure up towards Greenland and threaten to bring down a very cold north or northeasterly blast. Again, how seriously we take that, I do not know. We've seen a lot of these teasers, particularly within the extended range of the GFS. There is that cold trend within the GFS extended ensembles for end of January and the first week of February. So let's just wait and see. Maybe winter is still to come. We'll see. GM looks like, but keep your feet on the ground, of course, for now, because this is so far away, and we've seen a lot of these teasers that have come to naught so far, so don't get excited, please, and set yourself up for a letdown. If you want cold weather, proper cold, wintry weather. GM, something like that. Again, high pressure is in the ascendancy on Tuesday and through much of this week. Again, we do draw in this cold northerly wind into the middle of the week. That will bring cold air into that area of high pressure. Definite risk of frost and fog as we go into the end of the week and into weekend, and that's how it looks as we get to day 10. So high pressure then is across northern France into southern England, frost for England and Wales therefore, and back to generally milder but cloudier weather across Scotland and probably Northern Ireland as well. We've got to go to Metro Seal for the ECMWF. It hasn't updated at Weather Central, unfortunately. So again, ECM is basically much of a muchness. We draw some colder air into that area of high pressure around Wednesday, Thursday, and the high pressure builds over the top of the country through Friday and into the weekend. We more or less have that area of high pressure continuing over the top of the country. Now, why isn't this refreshing? Let's see what's going on there. I don't know, it's running slow. There we go, the high pressure sort of just sits there over the weekend and into day 10. Just high pressure domination going on and mainly dry, but there would be, again, plenty of frost and fog, particularly so for England and Wales on that very anticyclonic scenario. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. So not completely dry. There will be showery bursts coming and going. But the emphasis is on dry weather, definitely over the next 10 days. A lot of places will have a completely dry 10-day period. And, day 10, most areas are still looking dry. Now, these are the options on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10 from the ECMWF. Gets us to the 25th of January via the Icelandic Met Office. A lot of options to get through. They're all, they're all much, but slightly differing in the exact placement of high pressure. So the 16 just here have high pressure more or less over top of the country. That's going to be mainly dry, but there could be frost and fog with that. 12 with the high pressure over and slight to the west of the country, mainly dry, but probably a little bit milder and cloudier. The winds coming in off the Atlantic. 8, including the operation run, have high pressure again anchored over top of the country, mostly dry and a definite risk of frost and fog with that. 7 11 with high pressure, a little bit more focus over into the south of the country with low pressure to the north, and winds kind of in from more of a westerly direction. So milder for the north, mainly dry though down in the south. But that's a milder, more Atlantic-driven type scenario for take the high pressure just to our west with low pressure in over Scandinavia. Winds are sort of in from a northwesterly direction, mainly dry, a little bit chilly with that. And then another 4 have set up Scandinavian high and are dragging in the wind from an easterly direction. So all very anticyclonic, all bringing loads of dry weather up to day 10, just differing in exact placement of a ridge, but the exact placement does make an important difference between where it's milder and cloudier and where we have the risk of frost and fog. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Will get us to the 30th of January. 13 members of the ECM ensemble mild, with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and those are re-establishing a westerly. 11 with high pressure right out of the country, frost and fog. Another 11 pulling the high pressure out into the middle of the Atlantic and dropping in a trough of low pressure to our east, and so that will turn the wind in to the north. That will be cold and wintry. 10 here, very similar actually to that, taking the high pressure again out into the Atlantic, low pressure sort of to our north and east, so that could be turning rather colder from the north as well. Then 6 again with high pressure out in the Atlantic, low pressure to our east, but more of an Atlantic influence with that, slightly milder. You will notice that none of those options there involve a Scandinavian high bow at the end of January. So the GFS idea to build up a Scandinavian high by the end of January and possibly get wind into the east is not supported whatsoever by the GFS ensembles. If it does get colder at the end of January, looks like it's more from the north. At least initially, we'll see. Right, let's have a look at the CFS when we're done. It's a 500 millibar heights breaking down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 15th to 21st of January. The coming week, of course, is high pressure dominated anticyclonic. Week 2 is going to be the 22nd, 28th of January as the high pressure pulls out into the Atlantic, has some low pressure to the north. We bring in a little bit more of a west-northwesterly type flow. Week 3, again, is 29th of January to the 4th of February. High pressure in the middle of the Atlantic, low pressure to our north, but also to our northeast, where we're almost pulling in a northerly there. Certainly could be quite cool there, and showery and unsettled, and maybe for northern areas in particular, a little bit wintry. If that high pressure would just go a little bit further northwards, go up towards there, then this trough will go in that direction. Will that show open the door to a northerly for the closing days of January and the opening days of February. And then go flat into week 4 though. This is the 5th to the 11th of February. High pressure slips south and low pressure around Iceland, and winds go into the west, so that's more unsettled but also rather milder as well. Long way out though that. Right, that's it, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids. We have now passed 13,100 subscribers, which means, you know, we're moving again. So thanks so much, everybody, for getting us to 13,100 subscribers. And we're going to now try and push on and see how quickly we can get to 14k. Wow, wow, wow. Right, thank you so much. That's it then, we're done for this video and for today's video as well. Tomorrow, we'll start off with our 6 AM upload. We'll have a 10 to 14 days, so but Sunny Roundup came back last week, but it's only once a month for the time being. We'll probably start doing Sunny Roundup a little bit more regularly when we get into the summer, but for the time being, just once a month for the Sunday Roundup. So tomorrow we'll just do like a regular 10 to 14 day, very much what we've done with this video. And then we'll be live streaming tomorrow evening as well. So I shall see you live then. But for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Happy birthday to Charlie, of course. And bye for now.